Most Holy Father, by the grace of God, Supreme Pontiff, from William, the humble servant of the Church of Sens. My Lord, a wild boar from the wood has destroyed the vineyard of the Lord. Avenge, O Lord, the blood of thy servant and martyr, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who has been slain, no, crucified for the liberties of the Church.
Thomas, I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it. Louis can tell me.
To my Lord and Most Holy Father in Christ, Supreme Pontiff, from Louis, King of the Franks. The novelty of a cruelty so unheard of arouses a new kind of sorrow for such wickedness. Making an attack on the Holy One of God, the light of the Church of Canterbury. The light of the Church of Canterbury. Poor Henry. You see the troubles his sins have brought upon himself. I have a special duty now to Christendom and to his family. My son-in-law, young Henry, a most angelic youth.
You find that amusing?
I'm sorry, Father. I'm sure it wasn't amusing for poor Richard Barr, having crossed the Alps alone in such fearful dangers, not even to be admitted to His Holiness, and even to be cut by cardinals. No, forgive me. It must have been extremely boring. What happened in the end?
Well, eventually we overcame these scruples. We obtained an audience, but at the very mention of your name, my lord...
Go on.
My lord, we could do nothing to any purpose, and at last we learned that His Holiness had irrevocably determined to place an interdict upon you and your lands, and I'm sure, my lord, he would have done so had
They took your bribes, then?
Yes, my lord. They were very heavy sums.
We might have known that.
But you are out of danger, for the time at least.
Don't they understand? I lost a friend. For 40 days and nights when they told me at Argenton, I couldn't eat. I wouldn't speak. God grant you never to know the torment of an action you can't call back. If only I had not. If only I had not. If only. He loved you, too.
Thomas was another father to me. What's done can't be undone. One of those dreadful common sayings that turn out to be so dreadfully uncommonly true.
You can't understand, you're young.
There's another one.
You did well, Richard. Now remember it. When the legates arrive in Normandy, I'll have gone to Ireland. I'm going to bring my authority and the authority of the Church to that unholy land. Perhaps when I return, His Holiness might think more kindly of me.
Thank you, my lord.
He's a good man.
Rather boring. I do like people who are entertaining, even if they're sometimes bad. No, perhaps the two things never go together. One could construct a syllogism.
You talk nonsense. Where do you learn it? From your mother. You see too much of her.
Do you think I'm like her?
You're my son.
It's a serious question, don't you see? I want to be worthy of you, to be a great king, ruler of your empire, I suppose a good man. But I also want...
What?
Why do you never come to Mother's court at Poitiers?
We don't agree.
There's my syllogism. The logic of incompatibles. Poitiers' fun.
It isn't fun to be a king. It is breath and blood and life. Do you know what England was when I came?
Yes, it was anarchy.
And now there's order, law and justice in England, in Normandy, in Maine, and Anjou. Yes, and I suppose that's boring.
Oh, perhaps it's just too much. Even for someone as strong as you are.
Oh.
Why don't you give me England, Father? Give it to me now.
You'll have England, you know that. You've been crowned already.
Or Normandy. Why don't you give me Normandy?
Who told you to ask for that? Was it Louis?
What a strange idea. I don't ask for Louis, I ask for myself. Power is fun. That's what you say. That's what I want. Richard has Aquitaine. Geoffrey has Brittany. Surely I should have something.
You'll have it all when I'm gone.
When you're gone. In the meantime, you're going to Ireland, so may I go to Poitiers?
To tell me what your mother's plotting?
Do you mean spying? Only for fun.
What's your father thinking?
Wondering what you are thinking.
I think what Louis thinks.
I think so
You must have wings. One day you're in Ireland, the next in England, and now here. How do you do it?
On the devil's back? You must have heard that too.
Oh, I've no faith in superstition. All the same, you were unwise. You must admit that.
I've seen the legate since I returned to Normandy. I shall do penance for Becket's death. We've agreed terms. I want you to understand it isn't a formality. I've suffered.
The murderers, you know, claim they acted upon your orders.
They thought they did. It wasn't what I wanted. There's a bit of truth in those old stories about my demon forebears, my father's temper and my own. I shall never let that demon take hold of me again. I've sworn it, Louis.
Vows may be broken.
Not this. I want us to be friends again. I want you to believe that I can do something to atone for Thomas.
What do you mean? Go with me to Jerusalem?
If you want.
I've dreamed of that, but it's too late. Philip, my son, must oriflamme into the holy city. I've been on a crusade, you know. You never did that.
No. There was never time. Give me the kiss of peace at parting. You are my liege lord.
Life is so strange. Eleanor ran away from me and made you master of the world, her king, her god. No mortal man can ever be as great as that. Even the greatest falls, and sometimes from humility the poor are taken up and set on high. Thomas once begged you for the kiss of peace. Now he's a saint.
I know.
I have kissed a saint. The world is such a strange place. Sometimes I don't really feel I belong to it at all. Sometimes I feel... God will forgive you, Henry, if you are truly penitent. so should I. Pax vobiscum.
Here by the Holy Scriptures, and by the sacred relics of St. Andrew, and in the presence of these witnesses, I do declare that I, Henry, King of England, neither ordered nor desired the death of Thomas, Archbishop of Canterbury, which was as grievous to me as the death of my own father. Still am I deeply troubled that some words I spoke in anger against the Archbishop. The flashing of my eyes and my distempered features may have prompted his assassins to avenge my wrath. Because of this, I now present myself for due correction, trusting in your mercy and in the redemption promised by our Savior Jesus Christ. I here acknowledge this, my full and true confession of my sins against the blessed Thomas, martyr of Canterbury.
My son, the sin you have acknowledged to us is very grievous. Will you submit yourself to mortification of the flesh? I will. Prepare the penitent. For absolution of your sins, it is decreed as follows. 1, that you make oath of loyalty hereafter to our Father the Pope. 2, that the customs introduced by you to the prejudice of the churches of your kingdom you shall utterly abolish. 3, that the possessions of the Church of Canterbury you shall restore in full.
I swear it.
Let him be scourged.
Never in rage again. Never in anger.
And was it painful?
Very.
Sometimes the monks don't try.
They did. It's over. I'm absolved, free of it. From now on, I shall live a different life.
Oh, we shall all look forward to it.
You don't believe that? Well, I don't blame you. You've never experienced what I've experienced, something to change your life completely.
My life is full of changes. It changes constantly.
Inside yourself. That's what I mean. A change of heart and mind and spirit. When I look at your life...
Oh, what do you see when you look at my life?
I don't want to quarrel, not at
I
Christmas.
really want to know.
It's your life. You've chosen it. We agreed to live apart. I gave you Poitou and Aquitaine.
Poitou and Aquitaine are mine. How could you give them to me?
All right. You took them. You took Richard, made him a duke. And I took Henry.
And me, Father.
Yes, I'm John. My eldest and my youngest. You set up your court at Poitiers, for all I know. It may be blameless. That isn't what I hear.
Oh, what do you hear then?
Rumors. They say you set up a court of love. What does it mean? It could be a nunnery or a bordello.
Which do you think more likely?
Nothing to choose between them. If it's not subversive. I know it's popular. Young people flock to you. What do you teach them besides the ars amatoria?
A new code of conduct. They're learning to be ruled by women. To serve their ladies as they serve their lords.
That is rebellion. Against society.
If that's what you call it.
Does Louis know about this? That's what troubles me. It looks like a conspiracy between you and the Franks to squeeze me out. Look who comes to you. Louis's girls, Alice and Marguerite, dragging young Henry after her, and worst of all, your daughters, Marie and Alex, yours and his. Are you surprised? I wonder what's going on. I want to live in peace. You said you wanted it. I wish I could be sure. Perhaps you've heard. I'm negotiating another marriage.
You can't.
Not for me. For John. We'll arrange a family reunion, something to celebrate. You'll enjoy that, won't you?
It is for me, Father.
I'm meeting the Count of Maurienne. After Christmas. For all the family to be together. I That's what I want.
Very well, you see, my lands of Mariette. All to be your sons by this marriage to my little Alès, right? All between Aquitaine and Duttine. And for all this, you covenant to me 5,000 silver marks. Is it done?
5,000 marks my Lord King will pay, my lord, but not at once.
2,500 now, the rest on the marriage.
1,000 now.
1,000 now. 2,000 when I am bringing my daughter to you.
1,000 now, 1,000 when you bring your daughter.
What does he bring, your son?
My lord the king has designated his son John, the heir to Ireland, recently subdued by him. He also grants him estates in England.
But here are the mother's lands, Poitou and Aquitaine. Something your son should have in your lands so that the mother is between the two. Not he between the mother and the Pope. Agreed?
Agreed. Castles in Anjou. They'll be assigned.
How many?
3.
Is it good?
And if your daughter dies...
It's all right, Lord King. I got another daughter. Just as pretty. And where they come from, there are plenty more. Agreed?
Splendid. You're all here, then. Henry, Marguerite. Richard, the lion cub, and his Alice. Geoffrey, and his little Breton. Constance, my dear Joanna. And of course, the boy we're here to honor, John. Dear heart, have they filled the wine cups? I want to ask you all to drink a health. To John, the youngest Plantagenet, Lord of Ireland, and his small wife to be still sleeping in her cot, but we shall think of her. You didn't hear me. We're going to drink a toast.
I know, Father. I'm sorry. I can't join you.
Why not?
I should think...
Why not?
Because he's jealous.
I didn't ask you. I'm asking Henry. Why won't you drink his health?
With your permission, Father, I'll leave the table.
You will not leave the table. He will answer me. Why won't you drink his health?
You won't like it if I tell you.
I want to know!
All right. I don't want to make you angry, but I'll tell you. Because everything you've given, John, has come from me. Ireland, these estates in England, I knew he must have something, so I didn't question that. But look what's happened now. I heard this evening, Mother told me. You're giving him 3 castles on the borders between me and Richard. Chinon, Loudon and Mirepoix. It isn't fair of you. Everything you've done was just to make us hate each other. Richard and me and Geoffrey and now John. That's why I had to show you. If you give him those castles, I'll never drink with him again. I had to show you. Look, I hate this sort of thing. You know I do, but it's too much. I'm sorry.
You told him.
You could have done this.
And I would. Well, don't you see? She was the cause! Your mother, that's where it started!
I won't listen to
Yes, I will, lion cub. She always loved you best, Richard, her boy. She took you when she left me and gave her lands to you. I knew the trouble it would cause. I wanted to be fair. To you, to Geoffrey, and to John.
You gave me nothing. All you ever do is take away. Well, all right. If you're going to be so fair and fair to all of us, then give me England. Why won't you give me England?
Your boys are hungry. The hungry Falcons. That's what your mother taught you they ought to be if you would tame them to your will. It wasn't good advice. I knew. All the more reason why we shouldn't all stay hungry, so I suggest that we sit down and call the servants and start our meal.
Oh, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm going.
Where? Where will you go?
What do you care? To Louis?
No! You'll stay with me. Come to Chinon. We'll hunt together. Don't go to Louis. Stay with me.
Why do I want it?
Why do you want what?
This castle. Chinon, it's a prison. My whole life's a prison. You drag me around behind you, a monkey on your chain. We don't like the same things. We never did. You don't like people. That's the difference between us. And I can't bear to be alone. You know, once... It was the end of the jousting season. Everyone had gone. I was sitting with William the Marshal talking about winter coming on, and suddenly I thought of it. How many knights are there, here in Normandy, with the name of William? All going back to their castles, nothing to do till Pentecost and the jousting starts again. So, I sent my heralds with a proclamation all over Normandy, asking every knight with the name of William on the feast of St. Valentine to come and dine with me.
Everyone called William?
Everyone.
You must be mad. How many came?
110.
You are... No wonder you run out of money.
I never like to be alone, that's all. We're different. We like different people. You've sent all my friends away. You sent Saint-Hilaire to England because he was amusing and made me happy. And left me boring Richard Barr. You knew I'd hate that. It was your worst mistake. Good night, Father.
Henry. Henry! Bastards! Get up! Where is he?
He's gone.
Saddle the horses. Move! You saw him. Why did he leave you? To make more speed? Answer!
He said, tell Papa Henry the monkey broke his chain. That's all. He's gone. Please. What will you do?
Stop him before he reaches Paris.
Dear son, they say your father has the devil's wings, but you flew faster.
I was clever. I made for Argentan as if I intended to sail for England, and then double back to Chartres. That's how he lost the trail.
And your brothers, Richard and Geoffrey?
Mother has promised they'll be here soon.
We must bargain for Marguerite. You should release her if we act quickly. And then we can summon all your friends to Paris for our Easter call.
There's support in England and from the King of Scotland, too. When my standard's raised, you'll be surprised how many will flock to the rebellion.
Why do you say rebellion?
That's what we've planned.
There will be no rebellion. It would be most wrong. Your father made you king. He had you crowned. He who was king of the English is king no more, that's all. His liegemen must swear fealty to you, and you will reward them. You have your seal, of course.
It's in the keeping of Richard Barr at Rouen.
Your father gave it you. We trust he won't rebel against your order. Send for the seal at once.
This is the young king's treasury, my lord. There are sumpter horses with furnishings outside.
Thank you, Master Bar. Have you his seal?
It's here, Lord King.
Do you remember, Richard, the pains I went to have him crowned? The struggle with Thomas Becket started from that. They say a man's worst enemies are those of his own house. All the same, you're his servant. I gave you to him, and you must go. And take this with you. Load your sumpter horses and return to Paris.
If you wish, my lord. What should I say, my lord, to the young king?
Tell him. It's him I want, not his treasury. Tell him that. Godspeed.
Thank you, my lord.
Richard, I want you to act for me in England. I've armed the Norman castles. Everything's ready if Louis chooses to attack. Will there be much support in England, do you think, for a rebellion?
There will be some.
Don't worry. I've never lost a battle with Louis yet.
We'll need to raise money for 20,000 mercenaries.
You can pawn my coronation sword if there's nothing left.
You mean it?
It doesn't matter. What does matter? I built an empire for my sons, and they chop it up like bag pudding and pass it round in Paris.
And the Queen?
I wish I knew. Leave me with the prisoner. I thought they were mistaken.
No.
Where were you going?
Is this a trial for treason?
I don't know. Why are you dressed like that?
If you'd ever traveled as a woman without a proper escort, you wouldn't ask.
You can ride faster, too.
Yes, you can ride faster.
Suit you. Perhaps you should have been a man. When you went with Louis on crusade, you rode in golden boots into Jerusalem. Eleanor.
What are you going to say? Something original? Where did it all go wrong? Is that it? The Garden of Eden, I was a woman, you were a man. You know the story. Eve's folly cast you out of paradise and brought you to perdition. What's she for, the sinful, foolish creature? To satisfy your lust and bear your children. If only she'd no thoughts or wishes of her own, it would be paradise again. That's when it all went wrong, didn't it?
That's what you always said. That's why you went to Poitiers.
And for the first time, I was free. That was my paradise. A parody of yours, where love made law and won the only victories. And out of it, I built an empire, too. One that will last longer than yours. Perhaps until the world's end. As long as there is love and words and music to make it with. That's why I went to Poitiers.
If it was paradise, why have you run away?
I haven't. I wasn't certain. At first, I thought I'd come to you. And then I thought I'd try to get to Paris. If that's treason, you can try me. Henry's gone to Louis, and there'll be war, and Louis is my liege lord, so whatever I do is wrong. Am I to be your prisoner?
Is that what you want to call it?
What I call it is not important, it's what it is.
And what it always was?
It makes no difference.
Then you're my prisoner. Guard! Where are the girls? Alice, Constance, and Joanna.
In Poitiers. That's all you'll find.
It's over. Empty. Your court of love.
I've got you! Look, Father, I've caught her!
It's time, you children, went to bed.
I'm not a child.
Yes, you are, isn't he?
Of course. And you're French bitches, both of you!
John!
Go to bed. And Joanna.
If you say so, Father.
Good night, Joanna. Good night.
Good night, Joanna.
Say good night to your mother.
Good night, Mother.
Good night, John.
Oh, little beast.
Papa Henry.
I saw. It's Christmas. Time of misrule. When servants become masters and children pull young ladies' hair.
And prisoners?
Are prisoners. What else?
But we're not prisoners. Are we? Of course we're prisoners. That's one reason why Father has gone to war against Papa Henry. Because young Henry wants me back. I miss him terribly.
And Elise, do you miss Richard?
That's different. We're not married yet. Perhaps you never will be. Why not? Well, I didn't see how you can when Papa and Papa Henry are still at war.
It's bound to finish one day. Then Constance can marry Geoffrey, and I can marry Richard.
Constance could marry Geoffrey now. I've offered them a treaty. Geoffrey could marry you and have your Breton dowry. Perhaps he doesn't want you.
Of course he wants her. But Henry still wants England. Did you offer that?
No. Why should I offer him more? They haven't won a single battle. When they besiege a castle or a town and I challenge them, they run away. Well, Louis's one remaining hope is England. William of Scotland will come across the border in the new year, and that's when young Henry will try and cross the channel. But I shall be there before them.
And what of us?
You shall come with me. We'll all go to England.
This will be my room, Maria. Go and tell the porters to bring my things in here. I was always fond of Salisbury. Oh, they're working still on the cathedral. Do you think they'll ever finish? Where are the girls? Alice and Marguerite will have to sleep together. This tower's too small for each of us to have our separate chambers. Why don't you speak?
Marguerite is being sent to Devizes. Elise and Constance will come with me.
No, I want to see her. Let me go to her. No, Maman! Maman!
You should have told her. I'm glad I shall be here. You can see the downs. I always liked it. Maria will be with me.
Yes, of course. You understand the reasons.
Whilst there's fighting, it will be safer. I can see.
William of Scotland has overrun the border. Carlisle's besieged. If young Henry crosses the Channel, the whole of England could be at war. You'll be in the charge of Robert Maldude. I've given him my orders.
It makes no difference after all.
So you say.
Why are you taking Alice? She should stay with Marguerite. If you touch that child, I shan't forgive you. You know that, don't you? Alice belongs to Richard. Where are you going?
To Canterbury. I want to pray at Thomas's shrine. I came to talk. You know I didn't mean it. The world knows now I didn't mean to kill you, but you've always known. Thomas, you saw them scourge me. I let them the second time. Could you believe that? I wanted to remember. But most of all, I wanted pardon so I could speak to you again. Teach me how I should pray. God has never answered. Only the devil grants my wishes, and everything he's given me is empty. And I'm alone. Eleanor's cold. Rosamond's dying. She's gone to Godstow, taking her vows. Everyone turns away. I want my sons to love me, to understand me. When I was younger, it didn't matter, but now I want their love for me, not for my lands. Teach them to love me for myself. If you love me still, if I can be forgiven, show me a sign. Hell is to be alone. I found it. You are in heaven. If there's any love for me in heaven, here on earth, show me a sign. God.
Let me pass! Who's there? Let me! Ralph! My lord!
What the hell are you doing here? You should be on the border fighting the Scots. Oh, tell me the truth. You were defeated.
2 nights ago evening, we reached Alnwick, only 400 of us. Dumfriesville, De Vesey and myself. Oh, we left the rest behind. You know how slow those baggage trains
can be. Yes, I know.
I thought we'd make a quick reconnaissance. The King of Scotland was in the town. He'd sent out part of his army with Duncan of Angus to ravage the countryside around. We started. Remember that border country? A mist came down. We were lost utterly. We clanked around all night, following each other's tails. When dawn came up yesterday morning, we found ourselves quite suddenly outside the walls. They had seen us, all surprised, lost, and nothing we could do. And then, you know what? They opened the portcullis, welcomed us in. They thought that we were Duncan and his troops returning from their raid.
They opened for you.
Like a miracle. We rushed straight through those gates. William of Scotland and his chiefs were eating breakfast as we rode into that hall. My God, but they were terrified. You should have heard the shouts and screaming. It was a massacre. We took them all.
You took the king?
All of them. It's over.
A miracle. That's what you said.
Yes, I think it was.
Yesterday morning?
Yes, at dawn.
I was at Becket's shrine in Canterbury. Oh, Ralph, you bastard.
Yes, my lord, you've won. The rebellion is over. Young Henry will never dare to land.
It was a miracle. I prayed. I've been forgiven. This was the sign I sought for. God is on my side. At last! Where are my sons?
Send for the princes. They want to see you, to swear fealty and to agree the peace.
So you see, Louis, God was on my side.
Are you wounded? They should bring a seat for you. I didn't know.
Oh, it's nothing. An accident in England. Pax vobiscum. Richard! Pax vobiscum.
You're in pain. What is it?
A kick from a horse. Here. Lucky for England it wasn't higher. 6 inches and I'd been a gelding. What do you say to that? Henry, why don't you come?
Forgive me.
No, you mustn't do me homage. You're a king, my son. A king as I am. I'll deal with you on the same terms, the terms I offered before.
Same?
Well, almost. To Lucy.
Instead of half the revenues of England, the king will grant you £15,000 Angevin a year.
2 castles instead of 3, and the same for Richard, and half the revenues of Aquitaine. And Geoffrey,
Yes, Father?
you marry Constance and have Brittany. You must do Louis homage for her lands, if he agrees.
It was agreed before, at Montmirail, when they were children.
Yes, except for John. So much was settled then. Perhaps too much. We've agreed John's portion. We've quarreled. It's over. We'll live at peace. You love me, content with what you have.
And my daughters, Alice and Marguerite. Richard should marry Alice to seal this new accord.
There's time enough for that. I have plans. Plans for you all. Henry must come with me to England. Marguerite wants to see him. She's waited long enough to give him welcome as a wife.
They told me she was in prison.
I kept her safe, that's all. What are you thinking? I offer you all this, you still don't trust me? What do you want me to do? Win a trial by combat and give you all the prize? Come with me to Cannes. For England.
I must go to Rouen. Honestly, Father, I will come.
Oh, I'm so pleased to see you. What a day it's been. I can't believe
Marguerite, don't crush me. I've a needle. My dear one, how did you come here? Did you sail from Normandy?
From Barfleur with Father.
And then they sent for me to go to Winchester. I rose at dawn. I was so excited. And as soon as I saw Henry, his one thought and mine was to come to you. And here we are, all in one day.
Well, you mustn't rush me. I don't have many visitors. How is it? You must tell me everything between you and your father. Is the quarrel settled? Have you made it up?
Oh, completely. I'm to go with him through England and study all his business, so I shall be ready to be king when the time comes.
Well, that should prepare you. I never liked your father's endless chevauchées. Is it really settled? You understand each other. Can you be sure?
Well, it wasn't in a moment. In fact, when Father summoned me to Caen, I wouldn't go.
So you ran out of money?
It's true. That was the reason that I came. But when I saw him, he had this wound and so much pain. I don't know what it was, but suddenly we fell into each other's arms in tears. He let me do him homage. It was a very touching scene, unusual in this family. I wish you'd been there, really.
I would have liked to have been there, really.
Yes, I know. That was the reason that I came.
What?
Well, Father has a plan. Now, he's explained it to me, and I agree with him that it would be for the best. You see, he wants to set you free again now that the war's over. And he will set you free as soon as you can settle this one thing. The only thing that stands between you.
And what is it? This one thing that stands between us?
The problem of your lands, Poitou and Aquitaine.
They're no problem. They're bequeathed to Richard.
He wants you to renounce them.
Who does?
Father, of course.
And you agree?
Well, I do now. If you trust him...
Trust him? What a child you still are, not fit to be a king. Don't you see what would happen? Why he brings you to plead for him? It isn't like him, is it, to be afraid to ask for what he wants and ask himself. Do you know why? He dare not. Yes, even he. He's ashamed for this.
Be careful, Eleanor.
What should I have a care for? What have I left? You make it very plain. What I have left is all you want. My whole inheritance. You must understand one good thing about your father. He never offers anything except to his advantage. Before he'll grant my freedom, he wants my lands. And when I've given them, then he'll divorce me on grounds of consanguinity. The very reasons Louis gave him with a better cause. Now do you see?
This is enough!
Oh, I shall finish now whether you stay or not. Your father marries then and has another son. Now you are illegitimate and all your brothers with you. And one day when this dear child is grown to manhood, he will inherit all. England, Normandy, Anjou, Maine, Poitou and Aquitaine, and even France. It only needs a little luck and the right girl, doesn't it, Henry? One girl and the devil's luck.
God is on my side. Why should I need your trust? To hell with all of you! I have a secret, Alice. I want to show you.
Let's go back to the others. Let's go back to the hall.
A fresco. I had it painted here, on this wall. When Marguerite was crowned with Henry, that's when I ordered it. And now, it's done.
What is it?
An eagle, devoured by its young. 4 eaglets, not hungry falcons. 4 eaglets that would tear my heart out. Yeah. Oh, how beautiful you are. And young. The devil's creature.
No, Papa Henry. Please let me go.
I'm in pain. Give me some comfort. God will forgive us. It isn't wrong.
No. No, you shouldn't.
Trust me. Trust me. They wouldn't trust me. I cursed them all. Alice. My little maid of France. God will give it to us. They want to eat my guts. I'll fill your belly.